Hey, this is Evan. I wanted to show you OER Commons, talk a little bit about what it does and what some of the potential is for the EA system as well as the state of Iowa. If you're not familiar with OER, OER stands for Open Educational Resources. And basically it is a philosophy and a movement within education to take resources, share them oftentimes through Creative Commons, and make them freely available. But not just to make them freely available, but to also to build up a community where we can go and publicly vet the resources, share feedback, improve them, all those things are wrapped around this. The idea of OER, I think, is very vital to the potentiality of a one-to-one environment. If you're going to have a lot of digital devices and such, you need to leverage that with digital curriculum as well as digital tools. And OER can provide that. It provides that in a way that you don't have to spend money on as a district. So this site, OER Commons, is a repository which has collected OER. It's freely available. Anybody can go to it at any time. And if you were to look for, say, something in absolute value, type that in, you can narrow it down by subject area. You can see that subject areas kind of gear more towards the collegiate level. I'll talk more about that in a second. You can change that by educational level. And you also see standards here. This is one of the the best features of this system, is that it is closely aligned with Common Core, ELA and math, as well as Next Gen Science. Do a search. Try again, click search. And it comes up with those items. See, 98 items on that. And each one of these has, the conditions of use. It has metadata about it, so what subject, what material type, this is a simulation, where it comes from and such. If you were to click through on it, let's go back to what I had here. I'm wondering what, looks like that one was in there 3 times. So here's one. This was created by Rice University. It's part of Connections, which is a different learning object repository, grade level and such, middle school, 7th grade level. This happens to be a download document, or it's available on the web. And then you also see over here it has the standards aligned to it, and it has a rating of that alignment to it. With the system, they have a mechanism where you can go in as a community member and you can align it yourself. You can identify what standards you feel this addresses through this process. You can go in to grade level. Let's say this was a 6th grade standard in mathematical practices and such. Okay, so this gives a lot of potential for community to become involved. Not only can you go and align it, but you can also evaluate it. And there is you see this pops up here. This is an overview on how you use their built-in rubrics to do this. They have 2 different rubrics that they use that are part of this process. One is called Achieve, and one is the Equip rubric. If you're not familiar with the Equip rubric, that's often used for a lot of resources. The Iowa Department of Education has used that for to measure items aligned to the Iowa Core. Achieve is similar to that. It actually goes to the next level, and it uses that for digital resources, and it takes into consideration things like technology and accessibility and other aspects if it's something that's digital. So those are really nice. And again, if I go back to this here, looks like only one user has evaluated this particular one, but I, as a person, can come in and can see what the community has rated it. Again, we have the ability to add tags to it, and so those tags can then be searched for. We can add tags like the author's name or other factors such, and then the Creative Commons use of whether we can use it. All of this exists within the system and is available. But there's more that's out there as well. We have the ability through tools on the site to go and create our own content. And that includes content that is a document we already have on our computer that we're uploading. When we do so, we go and we tag that with the metadata and such so that it is available for other people to find. And we have the ability to go and create an interactive lesson or module. These really are the same thing. They just have separated out by grade level. We have a way to go and do that within the system as well. So these are, while they're not necessarily as full-featured as something like SoftChalk or such, it still gives teachers a tool to go and build things right within the site. In addition to that, there are already existing groups within the site. Creating a group is free. You can go and create a group for your members, and that creates a way in which, let's see, let's just try one out. Groups can go in, they can share resources with each other, they can have discussions. This one doesn't have any. They can have different members, make them free to join, and you can also, you can see the information posted for the group and recent activity. Okay, so all of that is features that are free within the site as an OER site. Okay. In addition to that, there are some other aspects that are really worth looking into. One, I'm going to come back to this one here, hubs and such, but another item is how to go and leverage some of the professional learning opportunities that they have. So OER Commons is operated by this group called ISKME, which is an acronym for something, and they run different levels of professional development, be it the Training Teachers Institutes, be it online resources. They even have a fellowship program, lots of different things that they have available. Some have costs, some which are resources are free. But there's, again, a lot of infrastructure around not just the site, but also understanding what is OER, why you use it, what makes good OER, and training around how to go and evaluate it, how to go and use it and such. So that's one of the aspects of this. Another aspect is, and I don't have it from here because I'm not in the system, but it also has LTI capabilities. So if I'm in my Moodle server or my Canvas server or my Schoology server, I can add something from OER Commons without ever having to leave that site. And then my students could access that item directly. They don't have to go out, search, find it, or what have you. So it's a way of not only taking this, but leveraging it to put it into your class. The other area, though, that I think is a lot of potential is what is called a hub. Now, there's two different sites, hubs and microsites. And microsites take it to the next level. A microsite would basically be we can go in and create our own OER Commons site, put whatever rules and restrictions on it that we would like. It basically would use this website design for it. Hubs is somewhat like that. A hub is to go and create kind of our own corner of the OER Commons website. So I'm going to click on Explore Hubs here. And you can see different groups have done this. Minnesota, by the way, is one of those. And you can see you get your own look and feel a little bit there. The web address is underneath the OER Commons site. But within there, you can set up, the parameters for what you have. You can set up your own professional learning documents for your group and your own resources, and you can identify subgroups within that are connected to that. So they have set up theirs as a coalition between the universities and the departments and a further partnership here and such. So as we think about how this might apply to Iowa, we have within us, we could use a hub as a way of organizing common work around OER that maybe our post-secondary partners would do, maybe the state would do, the AEs would do with local districts or local district teams, or maybe the DE does to create a series of resources that are quality or that have a gold seal of approval or whatever the case is. We can upload documents into the hub, but we can also pull from documents that are part of the larger OER. So that includes things like Khan Academy, Connections, Curriki, lots of different resources that other people have gone and done all the hard work of tagging and importing and do all that other stuff. We don't have to do that. We could just say, yep, we want that in to show within this area as well. So, and that's what Minnesota has done. If I go and I look up absolute value, remember we had 90 some results before. What they do, the limitations they've put, they've narrowed it down to say now it's only going to be 26 results. So that gives us a way to go and to kind of do some restrictions to make sure that there's some quality. If an IO educator says, hey, I don't care about your restrictions, I want to go and see everything, they can just click on over to the OER Commons. So a lot of different power and potential there. There is a cost for the hub. The hub costs about, they said it depends on all the different things you would set up, but the initial cost would be about $8,000 to $10,000. And then there'd be an annual hosting fee under $1,000. So at first I was thinking that would be somewhat onerous, but as I'm looking at it, that might be something that we want to investigate. Alternatively, there is another item called a microsite, and again, microsites would be where you go and create your own version of this. And let me see if I can. So Nsdl, the National Science Digital Library, is an example of the microsite. A lot of us have seen that site before. This one is not connected to the OER Commons. It's a completely separate site, and it completely governs itself separately. It just uses the template to kind of make that work happen. The microsites are more expensive. That would be a $35,000 initial development. So right now that would probably be beyond our scope for what we'd be looking for. There are some benefits from it, and maybe down the road that would be something that, as a state, if we have a lot of buy-in from districts and other partners in the state with OER, maybe it's a shift we could make. But it's nice to see what some of the options are. So that's kind of a quick look at the site, as well as some of the tools within it and some of the potential. If you have questions or would like to become more involved with this to find out how we could go and leverage this, just let me know.